let's get to cooking. This is what we're doing today at Memaw's house. Hey y'all, welcome back to Memaw's house. I'm so glad you came back because you see I got my apron on and I'm in the kitchen today. But today is a special day because it is the day before my sister Maxine's birthday and I'm going to bake her a birthday cake. So we're back on deck with birthday baking goodies. So it's time to bake her cake and I want to make her a mile-high cream cheese pound cake with a caramel glaze. She likes anything butterscotch or caramel. So I'm going to make her that cake for her birthday. So I got my apron on. Let's get to cooking. Here are the ingredients that we'll be using to make our mile-high pound cake. Now I have laid out here the ingredients for the actual mile-high, but I made a half a mile-high pound cake. So I cut these ingredients in half. And I will list the ingredients down in the description box of the mile-high pound cake. And you can cut them in half or you can do the whole cake, whichever one you choose. But we'll start with our softened butter and cream cheese. And I'm using 2 sticks of butter and 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese that I'll mix together well before I add in my sugar. Now I'm going to add in my 2 cups of regular sugar and we'll get that mixed in well with the cream cheese and butter. It'll take about 7 to 10 minutes depending on how your mixer is for this to cream well together and get nice and fluffy. So while this is creaming, let's go ahead and clean up the area just a little bit and we'll crack our eggs. Now this recipe calls for 5 eggs because remember I'm making the half a mile high pound cake. So it's going to call for 5 eggs. I'm going to crack those now, and you know I do that in a separate container because we don't want any eggshells in our batter. And usually my eggs are at room temperature. Now, a baker's note. If you forgot to take your eggs out, you can always put your eggs into some warm water and they will come to room temperature while you're doing some other things. But we like for our eggs to be at room temperature because the volume of the eggs when they're beat is greater if they're at room temperature and they incorporate better with the cream cheese and the butter mixture. So pull your eggs out and let them get to room temperature. Now that the butter and cream cheese and sugar mixture is nice and fluffy, I don't hear any sugar granules in the bottom of the bowl, and it has changed the color. So it is ready to have the eggs added. So let's go ahead and add our eggs, and we'll also at this point add our vanilla. Now, since this recipe does not call for a alternating of the milk or sour cream or whatever and flour, it doesn't call for any other wet ingredients. So I can go ahead and sift my flour directly into my batter as it stands because I don't have to alternate it. So I'm going to sift my flour right into the creamed butter and sugar and get that all mixed together. While the batter is finishing, let me go ahead and prepare my pan. And I did buy a new pan, and this is a straight-sided bundt pan. It's not your curved bundt pan, but it is straight-sided, and that's what I did not have in my arsenal. I used to have one, but I burned it out, so it's time for a new one. So I purchased a new one. So now I'm going to go ahead and scrape my beater off and get my cake mixed up well together. You know, I do that final mix by hand, and then we'll go ahead and put it in the pan and get it in the oven. We'll bake this cake at 325 degrees. If you were making the mile high pound cake, because it has so many more eggs, you would be baking it at 300 degrees and you would bake it for a lot longer. But I'm only going to bake it for about 40 minutes. Okay, y'all, so the cake is in the oven. Very easy cake to make. And you saw that I actually had a lot more ingredients out in the beginning in the clip with the ingredients, because the actual Mile High cream cheese pound cake calls for 10 eggs, 2 packs of 8 ounces each cream cheese, and 4 sticks of butter. I didn't want to make a cake that big because for Maxine, it's only her and her husband. And maybe the children will come in and that kind of thing. But either way, we didn't need a cake that big, a mile high for her. I just wanted the flavors of that cream cheese pound cake. So I will list the ingredients for the actual Mile High pound cake, cream cheese pound cake, in my description box. But I am actually cutting that recipe in half for this particular cake. And did y'all see my new cake pan? Bought me a new cake pan because I needed a little smooth-sided cake pan for my baking for Christmas. So guess what I did? I went on and bought me one. So that's my new cake pan. It's turquoise in color. It's real cute. Anyway, it's in the oven and it's going to bake for about 40 to 50 minutes. I will test it with the toothpick to make sure that it comes out clean. And I'll be back to make the glaze in just a minute. Now let us check our cake. It's been in for about 35 minutes now. But I want to check it to make sure that it is done. It looks pretty, but it doesn't feel done, so it's going back in for a few more minutes. What? Now, I let the cake stay in the oven for another 5 minutes, and it looks done. So let's go ahead and take it out, and we'll get it all glazed up. Because the tops are so pretty on these kinds of cakes, I like to flip that back over and show this part of the cake. And now it's time to make the glaze. I'm going to make a dark caramel glaze, which is a really simple caramel to make. And it is dark caramel because we're using dark brown sugar, which colors the caramel to a nice, really nutty brown, and it tastes delicious. We'll start with 1/2 cup of butter or 1 stick of butter, and we'll get that into the pan. All of the ingredients go into the pan together. To the butter, we'll add 1 cup of dark brown sugar. And the final ingredient for now will be the 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. I may add just a little bit more later, depending on what the caramel looks like. I'm going to cook this for about 2 minutes until it comes to a rolling boil, and then we'll cook it for 1 minute longer. Now, because it's so dark, I'm going to go ahead and add that other 1/4 cup of whipping cream. Now I'll wait till it comes to a rolling boil, and then we can take it off the eye. Now that it's no longer on the heat, we can go ahead and add our teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, let's glaze our cake. Because this is a warm glaze, it's going to seep down into the cake. And I didn't puncture the cake. If you want it to seep all the way into your cake, you can puncture the cake with a skewer or something like that, chopsticks, whatever you have. But I didn't want it to seep all the way into the cake, but I did want it to have a nice golden caramel on top that you would taste when you bit into that cake. The glaze is a little thin now, but it will thicken up as it cools. Okay, y'all, so the cake is done. It's out of the oven. We've already put the glaze on it, and you've seen that part. I did not get my taste testers in because, wait a minute, my camera's all wrong. I didn't get my taste testers in because this is Maxine's birthday cake, and once we cut it, I'll just put a clip of what it looks like on the inside, because I know some of you like to see what the inside of the cake looks like. It feels really good and it smells delicious. So when we celebrate Maxine's birthday, after I cut a piece, I'll put a clip on the end. In the meanwhile, thank you for watching, and I appreciate all that you do and all the beautiful comments that you always leave. So y'all be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, wait, before I go, the winner of the Cake for Thanksgiving contest was whoever chose the Italian cream cake. So that's what we'll be doing at Memaw's house for Thanksgiving. So we will have the Italian cream cake for Thanksgiving. Thank y'all so much for voting. Thank you for participating in that. The next time I'm gonna do a little prize for the winner, and we'll figure out something to do. In the meanwhile, bye. So we've cut the cake over here with Maxine, and it is beautiful. It was very easy to cut, and it's a very moist cake. It is quite delicious. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you give this recipe a try. Also, here's a video that may interest you and a playlist that I hope that you enjoy while I upload the next video. Y'all be blessed. Bye.